Okay. I wonder how many times I'm going to start the stream that way. Just me looking at my screen and saying, okay. Welcome back, everybody. Soul Commodore here. How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? I hope you're having a good evening or morning or afternoon, wherever you are. I hope you're having a good one. Today, we're working on this thing again. Big old 6 foot by 4 foot canvas. We're going to be doing some more details with the clouds, defining the edges, really going in with the detail. Probably going to redo some stuff in here. Even though I do like how it turned out overall, there's some things I wanted, like these look just a little bit too fluffy for my taste. Same with these clouds here. This one's alright. This one I'm going to keep. But yeah, and then we're going to work more in this area and all down through here, and we're going to touch this area last, I think. So yeah, that is the plan for today. And I suppose, with all that being said, we should probably get started. And in case any of you were wondering, and I'm sure none of you are, I've really been kind of lax on cutting my hair lately, which is why I've been wearing these hats. It was the Santa hat, although that was more for the season, you know. But now that, I mean, it's not Christmas anymore. It's still, you know, wintry, festive season, but the reason I'm still wearing a hat is because I need to cut my hair, and I haven't had the patience to do that as of late. So eventually I'll get around to it. Sporting a fresh new look. All right. So we're gonna grab our small flathead brush again. We can find it. There it is. Because that's what we did all the other detail work with. It was the small flathead brush, and we are going to try not to pull the brush apart. And try not to do that. And instead, what we're going to do is we're going to come in here and we're going to work on this. And I'm going to bring the camera in a little bit closer so that you can get a good look at what we're doing without me like zooming the camera all the way in. So, we have the I was going to say, we have the camera cord that works, but it doesn't work all that well if I drop my phone. So, we'll try to refrain from doing that again. But in the meantime, here we are. Okay. Is this going to stay on? I hope so. Okay. Yo, Zell, what's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome on in. I'm her. You're who? No, you're here. I'm glad you're here. Glad you made it in. How are you doing this evening? I know you had a very entertaining stream today, which actually this gives me a perfect opportunity to test this new command. I mean, it's the same command, but hey, it did work. It did work. Awesome. Yeah, y'all should check out Zellshot. Very entertaining streamer. Very cool dude. Has a lot of fun. He was playing Breath of the Wild. He's doing his first run through. He's doing a 3 heart run on top of that. So, you know. Also, Zell is a model of how you should play games. You should just explore, have fun with it, go crazy, do things that you're not supposed to do, you know. It's just a fun way to play. Could have been more live, but tired is tired. Hey, I get that. I get that. Tired is tired indeed. But I'm glad you made it in. I'm just happy that my viewing experience today wasn't hindered by too many meetings. I did have some, but I got to catch most of your stream without having to step away for too long. Ooh. For a second, I thought that was a little bit too bright, but actually, I kind of dig it. I kind of dig it. I might soften it up just a little bit, but for now, I am liking it. Garage and recycling. I get what you mean, man. I don't know if this is the case where you are, but the recycling and garbage trucks come so early where we live. Like, I got to get all that stuff out by like quarter to 7 in the morning, because they're supposed to come at like 7:15. And I think like we're one of the earliest routes, like where we live. But like honestly, like sometimes like they've been here at 6:30 in the morning and they didn't pick up our stuff because it wasn't out yet. Like, it's crazy. $7:38. Hey, Rocky Road, welcome in, welcome in. Hey, I will never begrudge anyone for not being active in chat if it means that they're eating tacos. I mean, that takes precedent over everything. So, I'm glad you're getting some nourishment. If you could spare a moment and tell me what kind of tacos they are, because tacos are delicious. See, Zell, we can't put it out the night before because our area is overrun with raccoons. Raccoons that are smart enough to actually figure out how to get into the bins. See, because my hometown, Chatham, Ontario, in Canada, right? Chatham, Ontario is known for crows, right? Like, crows overran that city for a long time. There's still a lot of crows there. So I move up to the GTA, like just north of Toronto. And up here, it's just raccoons everywhere. It's just raccoons everywhere. Chicken and carne asada. Nice, nice. I like that. I like that. So yeah, Zell, unfortunately, like we can put our recycling out the night before because usually they don't get into the recycling, but we can't put our compost out. We can't put the garbage out, and the garbage is every 2 weeks anyway. Like, they don't pick it up every single week. So if you miss a garbage day, especially because the trucks come early, you have to wait 2 weeks basically. So it's not my favorite system. I don't particularly enjoy it, but hey, what are you gonna do? Also, I've got some exciting news for you fine folks. Well, I mean, maybe you'll find it exciting. You may not. You're your own people. You can find your own news exciting. Anyway, my AV to HDMI switch came today. My converter, I should say. And then my capture card should be coming. It was supposed to come today, but it'll probably come tomorrow, which means that I'm probably going to do some sort of gaming stream at some point this week. I was talking with my girlfriend, and we are thinking that probably I'll stream games like Monday evening, the same time that we do this. Probably Wednesday, like at like midnight, because she'll be in bed and I'm still going to be up because I'm a night owl. And then probably Saturday mornings we'll do some games as well. The gaming won't be as constant in terms of like a consistent schedule as the painting is, because you know this is what I want this channel to be mostly about. But I also like games, so we're gonna play some games every once and again. And What I'm saying is that schedule is probably going to be a little bit more fluid. you, you don't care what I do. Well, that's fair, Zell. To be honest, I don't really care what I do either. But yeah, we're going to be starting doing some... Well, thank you, Rocky. I appreciate that. And like, don't feel bad if you miss any. Basically, like I said, like the Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday are going to be devoted to the art. And like I said, I'm going to try to stream like Monday and Saturday for sure, unless we got something to do Saturdays, and then in which case we'll just move it. And then probably Wednesdays as well. You know. But the gaming streams will be a little bit more fluid. I'll try to keep to a schedule, but they'll be a little more fluid just because, you know, life happens. But I'm excited. I'm excited for you all to see me be bad at video games. Oh, well, I appreciate that, Zoe. That's very sweet and kind. You're here for Soul. Well, then, you're in luck, because it will definitely be me still playing these games and still doing this art. Unless, of course, some nefarious doctor, like, steals me in the middle of the night and clones me, and then you're kind of left thinking, like, is that really Soul, or is it not? You know? The important thing is, raccoons are cute, but they suck because it means that I can't put the garbage out the night before, which would make garbage so much easier. Okay, I kind of like how that turned out. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get some red and some blue together, and I'm going to kind of mute that a little bit. Also, don't worry, Zell. I knew what you meant with your first statement. It just made me laugh. Because it's like, yeah, you know what? I don't really care what I do either. Life's too short. And again, as I've said, do as I say, not as I do. Probably not the best idea to open up tubes of paint with your mouth. But sometimes the cat gets stuck, and you got to do what you got to do. Just if you do that, and you end up with a mouthful of paint, and it's disgusting, don't come and sue me because you saw me do it. Because I warned you not to do it. Also, if you sue me, you'll be very, very disappointed with the payout that you'll get. So it's not really worth it. Alright, so this is all very bright. I'm just going to like mute some of this a little bit. You know, try to bring in a little bit more of the background color. Introduce a few shadows. Because I wanted this area bright, but I'm not sure I wanted it that bright. Like, it looks pretty good, but I don't know. I think having it a little bit less, you know, less is more in this particular case. Yeah. But yeah, also Rocky, yeah, the chicken and carne asada, that sounds delicious. I haven't had any sort of Mexican or Hispanic cuisine in a very long time. All right, See that? I'm liking this a little bit better now. Now that it's a little bit less. I probably should have just started out with this color, actually. Like a more purpley white instead of just straight white. But that's okay. Yeah, that's better. I'll come up here and do the same thing. And just like the last time, in case y'all are curious, the technique that I'm using for the clouds here is from an artist that I follow on Instagram. I really like the way that she does clouds, so I'm just gonna link her Instagram. I really like the way she does clouds, so I'm kind of playing with her technique for like highlighting and doing shadows of clouds. So if you want to check out her work, because I'm drawing inspiration from her, so you know, feel free to go check that out. I need a little bit more of the purple in here. It's a little bit too white. There we go. And like I said, it's not the exact same technique, especially because she uses oil paint. And you can't work with acrylic paint in the exact same way that you work with oil, so. But I've never tried doing clouds in this way before, so we're just kind of playing around, seeing what works. And I like the way that things are turning out, so. Yeah, I like that. I like that. We'll come back down. We're just going to kind of fill in this area. And like I said last time, this is also kind of an experiment for me in terms of color, because the only three colors that I've used so far in this entire painting are red, white, and blue. I haven't used any black. So it's really trying to play around with how do I get darker tones without introducing any black, you know? And it's been a fun journey so far, trying to figure that out. Okay, we're veering a little bit too far from what that original color was. So we're gonna introduce that a little bit more here. Just kind of blend it in. There we go. take a step back and look. There we go. Alright, I'm going to wash off this brush. And actually, if you bear with me for a second, I'm just going to go grab some super glue because this head keeps coming off of this brush, but I want it to stop doing that. So I'm just going to go grab some super glue real quick and glue that back together. I'm not going to throw up the screen or anything for the be right back. Just enjoy the clouds so far. And I will be right back with you. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. We're back in here. I'm not going to be able to squeeze through there where I got my camera propped up. I thought maybe I could, but I couldn't. Alright. So I asked this early in the other, in the last stream we did, because it was the New Year's stream. Does anybody have any fun New Year's resolutions, or if not resolutions, then just plans for what you want to do this year? Okay. So now we've got that super glued. So we'll let that rest. We'll kind of wash it off a little bit. And then we'll just let the brush rest to the side for a few minutes while that glue sets. And we'll grab another brush, wash that off, and then we'll work with that for a little bit while we wait for that other one to dry. Okay, we back. Ooh, yes, I like this pink color. Kind of taking over the white. Oh, thank you, Rocky. So I've said before, but my big New Year's resolution this year is to get back in terms of a fitness standpoint to where I was a couple of years ago. See, most of you probably didn't know me before I started streaming, but way back in the day, probably like 7 or 8 years ago now, I was like 270 pounds. So I really made it a goal to learn how to eat healthier get a hold of my portion control, just not eating as much, and I wanted to start working out more, which was funny because my dad is a certified personal trainer and had been training for years, so he was very excited that I finally decided to buckle down and get serious about it. So my goal was not even like a specific weight. It was just like, actually no, I did have a specific weight that I wanted to get down to, but it was more so like, this is going to be a long process and we're going to work at it. And in 2017, 2018, right around my birthday, I stepped on the scale and I was 179. You know, almost 100 pounds down from my peak weight. And then I got up to like 185 and was maintaining there for a bit. And right now I'm sitting at about 195. But I don't really want to go back above 200, so... but one of my favorite things to do in terms of like exercise is I love running. And I love lifting weights. But what I used to be able to do was I would run like a 5K just on a treadmill before I lifted, or if it was nice out, then I would run at the track and then go to the gym. So I would run like a 5K in like 26, 27 minutes, and then I'd, you know, lift afterwards, you know. So I want to get back to that level of fitness because I haven't been there in a while. Like, I'm still fairly fit, but I just, you know, I want to get back to that. So that's my goal, which is a little bit harder because the gyms are closed again, thanks to COVID. But that just means I have more cardio work to do around the house. And we do have like some small weights here, so, you know. But yeah. Oh, thanks, Rocky. Yeah, it's not any sort of like lofty, like I want to lose 30 pounds by, you know, beach season or whatever, like, which, I mean, that's a fine goal, but I like to keep it smaller, more simple, just sort of like, I just want to get back on track, you know? And I kind of went a little fast and loose with the portion control over the course of the pandemic so far, so I want to get a hold of that as well, you know? But yeah, if anybody else has any resolutions or goals for the new year, feel free to shout them out. Another goal for me is I want to get another solo show this year. That's a big one that I want. Yeah, the pandemic did a number on a lot of people. Which, I mean, makes sense because for a lot of us, like, it was really hard because, especially during, like, lockdowns, you know, where you couldn't go outside, or, like, they would recommend you not go outside, you know? It's like, well, what am I supposed to do then, you know? And for a lot of people, eating is a coping mechanism, which makes sense, you know? It's like the one thing that you had control over in your life for a long time there. And, I mean, the lockdowns, especially like where I lived, were definitely necessary to get the numbers lower. But it's sort of like, well, you sometimes got mixed messaging. And it's like, well, okay, if I'm not supposed to... If you're recommending that we exercise, you know, and keep fit, like, how are we supposed to do that when, you know, some of us live in tiny little apartments, you know? Or, like, you don't have access to any sort of services or space where you could, like, you know. But thankfully those restrictions lifted and people were allowed to, like, go and run outside and everything again, so, you know. It was just one of those things that was frustrating for a bit, but you also understood where they were coming from. Uber Eats was your... That's fair. That's fair. I'm sure a lot of people got very acquainted with Uber Eats and Skip the Dishes and all of those businesses. I don't think we ever used Uber Eats. Actually, come to think of it, I don't think I've ever really used Uber. I tried to call an Uber once, and the app crashed my phone. So So I don't think I ever tried it again. Hey, Jake from the Woods. How's it going, man? How's it going? You also had a very entertaining stream today. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, it crashed my phone. I guess the app was just like too new for my phone at the time. Because I wasn't updating my phone because I knew the update would crash my phone. And then the app crashed my phone. So, yeah. I got a new phone after that, but I was like, you know what, I'm fine. I don't need to try this app again. Especially because like I have a car. Thankfully, I'm able to have a car. And the only reason I needed Uber that morning or any sort of cab service is because my car had broken down and was in the garage, but I needed to get to work. So that was the only reason why I was using Uber. And then it's like, oh, wonderful. Thank you, Jake. Yes, there's a lot of happy clouds. Which means I got to put something not so happy in this to balance it out. I'm not quite sure what yet. But I'm sure something's coming. Well, thank you. I'm glad that you think so. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it, so far. So hopefully that feeling continues. Jake. Hello, Jess. I'll respond to that in a minute. Jake just redeemed the glug glug. So I gotta take a little sip of water, make sure I hydrate myself. Thank you, Jake. But Jess, thank you. Also, welcome in. I'm glad that you like the painting so far. Like angels are gonna emerge. Something's gonna be emerging from these clouds. I don't think it's gonna be angelic though. I do not think it's gonna be angelic. Because that's not my style. I have nothing against angels, but I'm much more fascinated in the biblical description of angels. Like the wheel within a wheel within a wheel with eyes all over it. As opposed to the humans with wings. That probably won't be popping out of these clouds either. I'm thinking it's going to be a plane of some kind. I'm just not quite sure what I'm going to do with the plane yet. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But yeah, I was just yeah, I mean that would be more up my alley. That would be more up my alley. But yeah, I was just asking chat if y'all have any plans or resolutions for the new year, because I was saying that I want to get back to the level of fitness that I was a couple of years ago, where I was running middle distance stuff to warm up for lifting, and get back to that level. That's where I want to get to, and then I want to try and get another solo show this year coming up. Those are my big goals for 2022. So if you all have any goals, feel free to drop them in. And I was saying how, we were commiserating on how the pandemic made it harder to keep the fitness goals. because it's hard to lift heavy when there's lockdowns. As necessary as the lockdowns were back then, it's hard to lift heavy when you can't go into a gym. Your life is stressful enough. You don't want to add additional goals. Hey, you know what? That is fair. That is fair enough. I am definitely picking up what you're putting down. I get that. Yeah. And my goals aren't anything sort of like, there's not like a weight goal or anything like that. I just want to get fitter to where I was before, you know. Oh yeah, Jake, you just looked up biblical. Yeah, they're freaky looking, ain't they? Yeah, they're freaky. Any advice on how to maintain your gains now that the gyms are closed? It's going to be... I was thinking of trying some pull-up style stuff. Not real pull-ups, I'm too... Yeah, I mean, that works. Basically, what you want to try to do is... sorry, I'm just trying to think of like what I've done to try to maintain. You know, like body weight stuff definitely helps. Even if it's like not like pure body weight stuff. But body weight workouts work because while you're not lifting the same amount, right? It's sort of like, it's more supplemental. So it does help while the gyms are closed to sort of like, you know, doing squats and there's single leg deadlifts where like you don't even have to have weight, but you just like put your leg back and you come up because you can feel the stretch in your hamstrings. The most important thing is because like unless you have the weights with you, like you're not gonna maintain the power to lift those weights until you get back into it. But keeping like the muscle integrity up and the limberness and all that, like that stuff that you worked on, it's going to make it much easier to get your gains back once you. So like for me, like the couple of times that gyms have shut down, like I haven't been able to lift as much like right away as soon as I got back to the gym. Yeah, you're gonna lose a fair amount. But if you maintain some sort of like fitness regime where you're doing like body weight stuff or like even lightweight stuff, and you really keep to the forms that you were doing, that's another important thing to like keep the muscle memory, so you know where you have to be to do deadlifts or squats and stuff like that. It'll make getting those gains back much quicker once you can get back into the gym. But it is frustrating because like you are gonna lose something, you know. But that's usually what I do. Like I work on form stuff. I work on like maintaining body weight stuff, you know, because it'll make it much easier once you get back into the gym to get back to where you were. But yeah, that's my advice. keep in mind, I am not a licensed personal trainer. So, take my advice with it. Actually, you know what? When I take a break, I'll ask my girlfriend what she thinks, too. And, like, when I take a break, I might ask my dad, too, because my dad has been doing weight training for years and years, and he's a licensed personal trainer. He got his license, but he did, like, he worked in social work for a long time, and would do, like, the weight instruction on the side. But then my girlfriend also has, like, her license for a personal trainer. Oh, Rocky, don't do that. Don't do that's how you get sued. That's how I get sued. Next thing you know, someone slips a disc and it's like, ah. But yeah, I'm not a personal trainer. I run a lot, do a lot of cardio stuff, and lift heavy things from time to time. So take my advice with a grain of salt. I'll go ask some other, like, actual professionals once we take a break. Which, what time is it now? Yeah, we'll be like another 20 minutes or so. Also, feel free to ask Jake from the Woods if he's still here, because he did CrossFit for a long time. And still, I think he's getting back into CrossFit. In all honesty, CrossFit was never really my cup of tea in terms of the... like, obviously, I don't have anything against CrossFit. I'm not a big fan of lifting heavy weights for time. So that aspect of CrossFit I wasn't too big on. Oh, you didn't miss anything important. I was just saying that my girlfriend is a personal trainer, like, has her license. My dad has his license. So I'll ask them when we take a break. And then I was saying that Jake from the Woods also does CrossFit. So he might have some advice too, if he's still here, on maintaining stuff while gyms are closed. And then I said, I'm not a personal trainer, so don't, like, quote me on things. And then Rocky Road started, writing down that I was a personal trainer. And it's like, oh no. Oh, well, that's a shame. I would think that that's when you would want to keep in touch with your clientele, because they're probably, like, a little bit lost as to what to do. Internet lying, who would have thought? But yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah, CrossFit. Yeah, I like CrossFit, and my dad actually it's funny because a lot of the things that we did growing up, like learning how to train like he does, a lot of it is CrossFit, in terms of, like, cross training, right? But yeah, the one aspect of CrossFit, and it's not the only aspect of CrossFit, so it's not even that big a gripe, but I just don't like lifting heavy weights for time. I like to kind of keep the intensity up, but I don't want to, do crazy heavy lifts as fast as I can, for as many reps as I can per time. That's never really appealed to me. But it appeals to a lot of other people, so, you got to find what works for you. While making sure that you stay safe. And, there's plenty of people who do CrossFit safely, so yeah, that's fair, but you know what? At the same time, that's kind of part and parcel with the job. I mean, there are annoying things about every job. You just kind of got to do it. Especially when, gyms close and all of a sudden your clientele is like, hey, I need some help here. So I understand, obviously, the human element of getting annoyed by that, but at the same time it's like, well, your clients need help. think it's time to go to the original brush pretty soon, because paint is starting to dry in this one, and this isn't my favorite brush to use anyway. So I know exactly what you mean, Rocky. I know exactly what you mean. With me, sometimes it's shirts, but it's usually games. It's usually games that I'm like that. But yeah, that's the struggle. Ah. Come on now. Okay, I don't know if you'll all be able to see this, but I've talked before about how like sometimes paint can dry within your bristles. I don't know if that's showing up at all, but there's a little lump of paint right on these bristles here that I'll see if I can pull off and show you. It's kind of hard to. What am I doing? Yeah, so that right there, this little lump, that was in the bristles of the paint, and it's because I didn't clean the brush like I should have, and that paint was like in the middle of all the bristles and dry it, and that's a really, really easy way to ruin your brushes in the long run. So don't do what I do. Wash your brushes. What's the shirt that you want there, Rocky? Okay, what do we want to do now? This front's kind of done, and I want to keep this stuff for later because I want to do that last. So I think we'll just end this wall of clouds here. We'll build up some more of this down here. Well, you can't see that. I'll have to move the camera. Yeah, so down here, we'll do some more here. Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, that's a struggle. Okay, what do we want to do next? I'm not touching this because this I wanted faded. I guess we'll work some more down here, but I'm going to need some more red. That's what we'll do. Hey, I mean that's fair, but at the same time, like you gotta dress how you feel. You gotta dress to express yourself. I mean, there is something to be said about dressing as an adult, but also like you should wear clothes that you feel like wearing, you know? Like I can understand like that, like someone not wanting someone to wear like emo-ish clothes if they're like working in a boardroom or something like that. You know, where business attire is more accepted, I guess, but at the same time, like you should just wear what you like. Well, yeah, some things aren't phases. I had a friend in university, well, not a friend, an acquaintance who I haven't seen since university. But they thought this whole art thing was a phase for me. Yeah, I haven't talked to him in a very long time because we weren't really friends. We were associated because of proximity. You know. We weren't even on the same floor. Like, we lived in the same residence, but we weren't even on the same floor. He would just come to our floor to party sometimes. And I mean, we would go up to his floor to party sometimes too. But yeah, he was pretty convinced that this whole thing was a phase. Yeah, art is an expensive phase, isn't it? Well, a person would say that to you too. Yeah. It's like, why don't people just let, if it's not hurting anybody, just let people do what they want to do. Like, it's not that difficult. It's really not that difficult. If it's not hurting anybody else, just let people do what it is that they want to do. Alright. I'm just going to take a step back here and just do some planning, see what we want to do next. Yeah, I'm liking how this is looking so far. Like, especially like redoing in here, because we went over that a little bit. Like, I really like that part of the painting now. We're going to switch gears actually. I'm going to come up here and work on this a little bit. So let me see if I can angle the camera a little bit. Bring it a little closer over here. Yeah, because we want to work on this whole area. What time is it? It's almost 7. So we're almost a couple minutes away from a break. I don't know if I'm blocking that. I probably am. So I'm just going to define this cloud just a little bit more than it was before. Your friend reminds me of my best friend who told me, no offense, but I would never buy a painting from you or anyone else when I can go to homes. Yeah. Yep, I've gotten that too. Yep. Why is it that every time someone says no offense, they follow up and say something offensive? I mean, sometimes it's needed, like, no offense, but, like, I think you might have a problem with alcoholism. But also, like, what did your friend think think you were going to react like after she said that or he said that? Like, what did they think was gonna? What was the outcome they were hoping with that interaction? Like, if I'm not gonna buy art from someone, regardless of whether I go to HomeSense or something, but if I'm not gonna buy art from someone, you know what I say? I don't say anything. I just don't buy their art and then I go somewhere else. Like, I don't understand it. Yeah, Rocky, that's too bad that your sister do that, because that is kind of rude. That's a shame. And yeah, going to buy $200 black Coach bags, but won't buy like art for what it's worth. I mean, hey, go for what you know, I guess. But that's pretty ridiculous. Okay. We can come over here and paint some pretty dark clouds here. It's a little bit too blue. I'm going to catch up with chat in just a second. I'm just kind of feeling myself right now, so I don't want to give up on this corner yet. Okay. I'm going to wash that brush a little bit. And then come over and catch up on chat. Because we just finished this area here. Ah. You think your art is a phase and one day you'll wake up to be a lawyer or a teacher or a secretary. Your friend was upset because you wouldn't paint him something as a wedding gift. Well, yeah, I mean, if that's the boundary you set, like, yeah, he's got to pay for it. You have yet to wake up and say, how can I hate my life? Well, that's good. That's good. And yeah, the nerve of that guy. Yeah. Yes, Jess, people love art, but they don't value artists sometimes. Yeah. Yeah, I'm happy you didn't cave and paint for this dude either. Zell, I hope you know, buddy, that it's not a phase, man. It's very real. It's very real and it's here to stay. Which is a good thing, because I really enjoy your streams. Alright, so I'm gonna take just a quick break. Just a couple of minutes, grab some water, maybe grab a snack. And then when we come back, we'll continue doing the details on these clouds here. Yeah, so I'll just run a quick break, throw up the be right back screen, and then we'll be back here in a couple of minutes. So everybody just hold tight. All right, we are back. Oh, you just wanted to see the well, I'm sorry, Jess. You can see them now. But I guess... you're gonna watch Daredevil? Cool. Well, you did put the lurk thing in there, so I will sing the song. I always feel like somebody's watching me. That was a little off key, but whatever. The clouds low-key remind you of how to train your dragon. Cool. Oh, Jess, just before you go, so I just talked to my girlfriend, and yeah, on top of what I said, with like body weight stuff. With your 10-pound weights, try to do like slower reps. Do more reps because it's only 10 pounds, but do the same workouts with lower reps or slower reps, I should say, to really, like, you know, get your body engaged. And then with the body weight stuff, try to vary stuff. So like if you're doing push-ups, for instance, right? Don't just always do like the standard push-ups. Do wide push-ups where you have your hands out wider. Do close grip, you know. And you don't have to do push-ups, but just vary up the workouts as well, so that you're not just working one big muscle group all the time. Because this is a good time to actually like strengthen the smaller muscle groups. You know, that will help with your gains when you get back into the gym. Yeah, I was gonna text my dad, but then I remembered that I use my phone as a webcam, so I can't. But I will text my dad too, and then like in your next stream or what have you, if I catch it, then I'll give you some of his tips as well. But yeah, enjoy your dinner and Daredevil. And thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. I do appreciate it. Where's my rag? There it is. It's all the way over here. Okay. So I'm just gonna wash off this brush. And then, yeah, take it easy. Take it easy. Have a good one. Appreciate you stopping by. Okay. So, we're going to change gears a little bit, actually, and we're going to come into the center here a little bit more and work through this. Because I noticed when I was looking from a distance that these clouds here, while they're defined, they just kind of stop here. And I want to carry this on up here a little bit more while keeping this haze in. So it's going to be just below, like in this area right here. Because we can come back and do this later. This is our painting. We can work on whatever part of it we want, basically. So need a little bit more white, and we'll just start laying in a nice foundation here. One of the hardest things to kind of get your mind around if you're new to a... Oh, you bought it? There you go. There you go. That's the way to do it. Good. I'm glad. When you're painting stuff like clouds and everything, it's very important, once again, to like kind of like try to get your mind around the fact that like our brains think they know what clouds look like, but thankfully, like, I've done enough clouds that I can kind of like work off of just how I know technically how clouds look, like shadow and light and all that kind of stuff. But it's really important when you're doing stuff from life to make sure that, you know, you are actually drawing or painting what's there. As I've said before, my teacher always said, draw what you see, not what you think you see. Now, I'm not working off of a reference for this, but like I said, thankfully I've done enough clouds that I can kind of like pick out what they look like and where the highlights will be and all that. But I completely lost my train of thought. But that's okay. That's fair. That's fair. Not going to look at your bank account until your last paycheck? Yeah, I get that. I get that. Well, thank you. I'm glad you think it looks good. It is tricky. It is very tricky. You know, especially when you're working with something that is freeform, kind of like clouds. Like, obviously there's some like physics involved in how clouds take their shape and all that, but there's so many different types of clouds and cloud formations that it can be kind of weird. So, you know, I guess my main point, because I forget what my actual point was, but my main point here now is like, just make sure that you practice. Make sure that you practice. It's the best thing that you can do for your art. Also, when you get old like me, make sure that you actually start to define what your point is before you actually get around to making your point. Otherwise, you're going to completely lose your train of thought, and then you just sound like an old rambling fool. So get to your point quick and then get out. You know, don't ramble and tell a bunch of stories and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. Now we're gonna come over here, start working this way. I was thinking about what, when I get my capture card in, what game I'm going to start with, and I think I'm going to start with, Super Mario Brothers 3. Because that is my favorite video game of all time. So I think that'll probably be the first game that I play. Because I've got plans for other stuff to play, but to start, I think that's what I'm going to do. Now I don't want to get too far over here with it, so I'm going to blend this out some more. How are we for color matching here? We can go a little bit lighter. I don't want to lose this haze in here. Yeah, I hope everybody's having a nice night. Once again, you're gonna get sick of me saying this, but I do appreciate all of y'all coming out and watching the stream. I always appreciate it, because Lord knows there's like tons of other things you could be doing. So I appreciate that you choose to take some time and hang out here. That is not what I wanted to do at all, but that's okay. Mistakes are fun. Go. And while I'm doing this, I really don't have a whole lot of paint on the brush, which isn't too different from how I tend to work anyway. But yeah, there's really not a whole lot of paint on my brush while I'm doing this. It's a pretty light amount of paint. I really only have what I need to make the impressions of clouds and the impressions of highlights and all that kind of stuff. There we go. Oh, it's all one brush, Rocky, and that's simply because I don't have the patience to keep switching brushes. No, it's all done with one brush. The only time I'll change brushes really is if I'm changing the scale of what I'm working on. So like, you know, if I had like my inch flathead brush, like I probably wouldn't be doing all of this in here, right? That would be more for like doing big swaths of the painting, like all this haze and stuff, right? It definitely wouldn't be for doing all this intricate stuff. But yeah, in terms of blending and everything, I usually just use one brush. There have been times, rare as they've been, where I do switch between brushes to blend. But mostly that's just because that's more because of the quality of the brush itself and not so much it's more of a necessity thing. Basically, like, I get a brush all gummed up like this one and it's not going to blend well, so I'll get like a dry brush and blend with that. But most often it's I just blend with the same brush. There we go. So now I'm just gonna take a sit back and just look at what we're doing now. I like that this is all kind of built up through here now. I do like that. Yeah, blending can be hard. It's not a bad idea to apply paint with one brush and blend with another, especially if that other brush is cleaner. It's not a bad idea. Plenty of people use that technique. You know, especially if you want to get back into painting, and depending on the type of painting that you want to do. But yeah, I don't, I tend not to have the patience to do that myself, but, you know, everybody's a little different. So right now I'm just sort of looking and seeing what it is that we can do next. Because this area down here in the bottom right corner is going to be pretty stormy, but I don't want to go too into detail with that yet. Hey, thank you, Jake. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. It's, yeah, it's coming. We're almost done with the clouds. There's like 2 areas, again, this area and then the area over here that I really have left to do. But, yeah, it's coming along pretty nicely. I'm pretty pleased so far. My painting teacher kept telling me that you blend too much and he didn't like it. I mean, that's annoying. I mean, I get where teachers come from with that kind of stuff, but I mean, honestly, I don't see how you could possibly blend too much if that's the look that the artist is going for, you know? Oh, he liked textured abstract paintings. I have a story about a teacher who didn't like the stuff that I did. Oh, Jake, thank you for the lurk. I appreciate it. I always feel like somebody's watching me. Thank you for the lurk, man. I appreciate it. But yeah, I had a professor who hated photorealism, and I tended to do more realistic paintings at the time. So he and I did not get along all that well. Like we were civil and everything, but in terms of our artistic sensibilities, we did not mesh well. Somehow, though, I still passed that course. I have no idea how. But, you know, thankfully I did. And that's part of the reason why I don't think I would ever really want to be an art teacher. Because your taste is so subjective. Like, you're just unconsciously going to bias yourself against certain pieces of work that you just don't like, right? And it's not going to be anything about like, oh, well, the artist successfully achieved this or didn't successfully achieve that. No, it's going to come down to like, I like this painting and I don't like that one. And I don't know how I could mark that. Like, I don't know how I could be okay with marking like that, you know? So I've never really been interested in being any sort of like art teacher. Art history is fine, especially if you're doing like just hard art history facts, you know, and what historians believe artworks might have been about and what the artists said themselves. Like that's fine. Like, I suppose I could be an art history teacher, but I couldn't be like an art professor. I don't think. I would have a really hard time justifying or trying to justify the marks that I give people beyond just like, well, I like this and I don't like that, you know. I would struggle quite a bit with that. Also, it would mean that I would have to go to teachers college, and I really don't have any interest in going back to school at all. So, you know. Yeah, no, that's really, I mean, yeah, good for her. That's very hard to do. So kudos to her. I wish she would have been one of my professors. I mean, I did have some professors that were like that. You know, they could set aside their biases and mark objectively, but they were few and far between. Oops. I need that to be lighter. Ooh, I gotta check this real quick. Bear with me. Okay, I'm just because it's coming up and y'all know how I feel about ads interrupting what we're actually working on. I'm just going to run a very quick ad real quick and then we'll come back just so that it doesn't interrupt the stream because it's going to play anyway. So we'll jump ahead of it and play it now. So we will be right back. Okay, there we go. Thank you for your patience. I just didn't want that ad to kind of trounce all over what it is that we're doing here, so figure I gotta jump on it. But yeah, no, I'm very glad that your illustration professor was able to do that and was able to like mark you guys fairly. Because yeah, that is very hard to do. Just kind of blend all this together. I'm going to start working on this. I just remembered what it was that I was going to say a long time ago when you're working on stuff like this. One thing that's really helped me, especially when I'm like drawing people, specifically when I'm drawing people, is just to remind yourself as you're working, like, yes, these are all clouds, and they're all very clearly clouds, but at the end of the day, they're all shapes. That's all it is just shapes, right? Shapes and colors. So just looking at something as a shape instead of a cloud, it's sort of like using that approach is similar to like if you want to lose. One thing that a lot of people struggle with losing weight, for instance, is that they set their goals too high. Like they want to lose 30 pounds in 6 months, right? Which is very tough to do because it's such a big goal, right? And weight fluctuates so easily. Like you'll be up and down a pound every once and again. Weight loss is about like sustainability and seeing the number trend downwards. There's some days where the number is going to be higher, some days it's going to be lower, but you want to see that trend downwards. So 30 pounds in 6 months is almost too big a goal because you're going to get frustrated when you see that number not moving the way that you want it to. But if you make your goal, I want to lose 5 pounds a month, which even that's like a pretty lofty goal, but just for the sake of argument, right? If you can lose 5 pounds a month and then stick to 5 pounds a month, boom, you've lost 30 pounds in 6 months and you didn't even realize it because your goal was smaller, right? Now losing 5 pounds a month is sustainable and it's tough to do, just like any sort of weight loss. But painting is the same way and drawing is the same way. Like if I were to look at this whole thing and be like, I want to paint these clouds exactly like I have, right? that would be really difficult to do because it's such a huge scale. And even on a smaller scale, it's like, okay, but how do I want this cloud to look, and this part and that part? And I would personally start to nitpick and all that. So my approach is I'm just looking at shapes and colors and tones. I want this to be darker than this, right? I want this to be darker than this. I want this to be redder than this, right? I want these to be highlights, just little shapes of highlights, you know? And you just work on those little areas, and then you pull back, and it's like, oh my God, I've got a wall of clouds, you know? And that takes practice, just like with weight loss. It takes practice to like reorganize your mind in that way. It takes practice to like reorganize your thoughts because, you know, you've been taught from like a young age, like, you know, draw a cloud, you know, and you have to think, okay, well, what does a cloud look like? You're not thinking it looks like a shape. It's just a certain shape. You're thinking, okay, it has to look like a cloud. Well, what does a cloud look like, right? So it's kind of like reimagining that way. I don't know if any of that made any sense, but it did in my head. So there we go. It's a difficult thing to do, but it's definitely worth it trying to break things down into shapes. For instance, when I'm drawing from a reference image, right, and I'm drawing a face, what I'll do, because I use like the grid method, right, where I'll take the reference photo and I'll, you know, put it into a grid, and then when I'm drawing, I'll go grid by grid, right, on the actual piece that I'm drawing. When I'm drawing a face, one of my favorite things to do, and I had a teacher, I wish I could remember which teacher it was, suggested to me that when you're doing so, when you're drawing a face, turn the reference image upside down. Because obviously, intellectually, you know it's a face, right? But when you turn a face upside down, now all of a sudden, it looks, obviously it's an upside down face, but it looks like shapes. That's an eye, but it doesn't look like an eye, right? It just looks like a shape, right? The nose looks like a shape, the nostrils, the mouth, everything just looks like shapes. So, if you're ever struggling with that, try that as an exercise. Draw an image from life, but turn the image upside down, whether you're drawing a face, or painting a face, or a car, or a building, or something. Just turn it upside down, and you'll start to see, like, oh, okay, that's kind of like a weird oblong shape. That's kind of a weird squarish type shape. That's just a regular old rectangle. That's kind of like a weird circle. And then you turn it right side up, and it's like, oh, okay, that actually looks pretty good, you know. And I especially recommend that with faces, because faces, more than anything, your brain likes to think that it knows what a face looks like. And your brain has no idea what a face looks like when you're trying to draw a face. Like if I were to try and draw like one of my siblings right now, I couldn't do it. It would look nothing like them. Because what I'm drawing is what I think they look like from memory, not what they actually look like, right? So, yeah, that's just something that you all should try sometime if you're interested in like working from life. Now, obviously, if you're painting from life and it's not like a still image, it's going to be harder unless you paint while standing on your head, which that would be a feat. I would pay money to see that. But painting from still images or drawing from still images will actually, turning it upside down and like working on that and practicing that will actually, I think, help as you move forward and start like painting from real life, like a still life, or painting in a plein air where you're painting outside, you know, or drawing outside, or doing whatever type of artwork outside, you know, sculpting. You know. Oh, I'm glad you think that was good advice. Yep. I wish I could remember which professor or which teacher that was, because it might have even been in high school. But it was pivotal in helping me do drawings of people a lot better. Because I would get too wrapped up in like, well, this doesn't really look like them. And they were like, well, just turn the thing upside down. Because nobody looks like themselves when they're upside down, so you don't even have to worry about it. It's a little psychological trick. I don't think that's too light, but I'm going to darken it anyway. There we go, that's better. When we finish the stream today and we go to raid somebody, I gotta remember this time not to forget to close my stream, to end my stream, because there was a good like 18 minutes of just the sound of this other person's stream that I was raiding. So I gotta remember not to do that this time. Okay, so we got that cloud defined. This, again, I'm going to keep hazy, although I might... What I might do is I might just lighten up just certain edges of this. There we go. Yeah, that... Ooh. I'm looking at it through the screen, on my screen, and it looks really good. That was a good idea. And we'll put something, like just a little something there. Yeah. Yeah, that worked out well. And now I'm just taking another look, just sitting back, just seeing what we can do next. Because we got about 20 minutes left in this painting. 20 minutes left for today in this painting. This painting's not 20 minutes from being done yet for what I've got planned for it. Okay, so to give my knees a break, because I've been kneeling for a while, we're going to move out of this area, and we're going to come back up here. Not here, sorry, here. And just define a few things in there. So I'm going to just move my camera back up. There we go. we're just going to come up here. But first I'm going to wash my brush. Oh, y'all want to hear a funny story? So, my girlfriend for Christmas got me a micro SD card for my Nintendo Switch, which is great because now I have so much more space for the games and everything. But one of the games that needed a micro SD card is I bought NBA 2K20 because, you know, I like you know, Breath of the Wild, and I like the Mario games, and I like, you know, my RPGs. I like all the stuff that most people would consider like games, but I also like sports simulators, you know. I've always been a fan of Madden. I'm not one of those people that will buy like a Madden game every single year. Same with 2K. Like, I'm not going to buy like a basketball game every single year. But every once and again, yeah, I'll buy a basketball game, you know. One of my favorite games of all time growing up was Kobe Bryant's NBA Courtside 97 on the N64, right? So I got NBA 2K20, but I couldn't play it because I didn't have this micro SD card. And it's one of those things that I always forgot to get, right? Because I would be wrapped up in other games. So I asked for one for Christmas, and my girlfriend got me a micro SD card for Christmas. And I go to fire up NBA 2K20, and everything's working just fine. You know, I'm building a my player, you know, because you have to do that on their online servers, you know. And everything's just hunky-dory, everything's great. And then all of a sudden, I can't log on to the server anymore. Like, there's an error. And it's an error that has many different fixes, so I tried all the fixes and nothing's working. And then I finally get on Reddit, and then someone's like, oh, yeah, they closed those servers on December 31st. Of 2021, so you can't play on those servers anymore. You have to get like the new games, like NBA 2K21 or 2K22. And I was like, oh no. So thankfully, like, I can still play the game. I just can't play it online, which I wasn't big on playing it online, but I wanted to go through the My Player story at the very least, you know, and that required the servers. So now I can do all the stuff, like I can do the franchise stuff, I can do like I can create a player, I can do just play now and all that kind of stuff. Exactly, Jake. No! Yeah, so that was a little bit sad, but oh well. I was just glad that the mystery was solved, because it was really starting to frustrate me. Because like, I like to try and figure out why stuff is happening and trying to fix problems on my own, and I just could not figure this one out. And then someone's like, oh yeah, no, the servers have gone offline forever. So, that's why. I was like, okay, well, at least I know I'm not going insane. So if any of you were looking forward to seeing TJ Brown, you know, shooting guard for the Phoenix Suns wearing number 12, tearing up your league, sorry. You're not going to be able to see that. Rip indeed. R.I.P. in peace. But that whole thing reminded me of that whole debacle like years back with the Xbox One, where it was like it was always going to require an internet connection even to play like single player games, which is like Xbox. Do you understand how faulty wireless connections are even when the connection is good? Like it can drop at any moment. And there's a lot of like your main clientele are based out of America, and there's a lot of places in America that do not have good internet service. So you're basically telling your main fan base like, oh, tough. I saw a really good breakdown on that whole debacle by this channel on YouTube, Stop Skeletons from Fighting. The guy who did that used to be the Happy Video Game Nerd, which is a cool little thing that because I used to watch the Happy Video Game Nerd as well as the Angry Video Game Nerd. I didn't realize it was the same guy, but anyway, he had a really good retrospective on that whole debacle, like how it came to be, the fallout, you know, why Microsoft made the decisions they did. It was really, really good. But yeah, their whole thing was like, well, if you have trouble connecting to the internet, you can. There are wireless options where you don't have to connect to the internet. Just go buy an Xbox 360. Don't buy an Xbox One. Which is like, that's great messaging that you want to put out to your fans. We've heard your concerns, and we're not going to do anything about them. There, this is all looking much better in here now. Because this was just a whole lot of, like, just empty nothing. Now it's actually starting to look like something. I'm being really rough on this brush. I should probably watch it, because I don't want to ruin this brush. It's one of my favorite brushes. It's one of the old, if there were old art proverbs, that would definitely be one of them. Be kind to your brushes, and they will be kind to you. I could definitely stand to be kinder to my brushes. There we go. That looks pretty good. What I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to soften up some of these peaks here. Oh. I That's a little bit too light. Also, everyone should very kindly remind me to go buy some red paint for the next time we get together. Because I'm going to need more, but I am all out. There we go. Alright, so same things we have been doing. I'm just going to kind of sit back and see what we're looking at and go from there. So I think this has turned out pretty well so far. Let's see, what time is it? 7:52. Okay, what we might do actually is I'll take you on a tour of this piece. And then I think we'll go find someone to raid. So, we got down here. I'm gonna have to grab my computer for this to bring it with me. So, we got this coming all the way across here. You know, that's the bottom of the piece. And then we moved up here and did some stuff up here and all through this middle section. Now we'll go up to the top. Some nice stuff going on up there too. That's not all of it, obviously, but not looking too bad. Oh, there was my nose. And there's my shirt. So put this back. Oh, thank you, Rocky. I appreciate it. And we'll back this up a little bit and try not to drop my phone in the process. Better from here? Nah. I still can't get this whole thing in frame, but that's okay. That's that right there is the... Come on, stay in place, please, phone. Oh my goodness. Of course, we're having technical difficulties at the very end of the stream. There we go. But yeah, that's what we've got so far. And the next time we come together, we're going to work on this area down here, and then this area over here. Just do some more with those. Yeah, I am pretty pleased with this so far, I must say. It was a gamble because I haven't used this technique before, but it's paying off. So yeah. I'm enjoying it. So let's find somebody to raid, shall we? Let's see. Ooh, you know what? You know what? I've rated this person before, but they do really, really nice stuff. They use gouache a lot. So let me type this in. We are going to go raid. Oops. Raid. J.R. Burbs. Yeah. We're going to go raid J.R. Burbs, who right now is like working on a piece. I think it's like a lakeside piece or something like that. Yeah, we're gonna go say hello. So I really do appreciate y'all coming out. I hope. Thank you, Rocky. I hope that you have a good rest of your night or day, wherever you are. I feel like you've said it before, and I apologize because I don't remember. But I hope the rest of this day treats you well. And I'm glad you bought that shirt. Enjoy it. But yeah, next time we come together will be on Thursday. Same time, 6 p.m. Eastern. So yeah, we'll work on those 2 areas of this, and then we can finally get to the meat and potatoes of this piece, which is going to be the thing that's actually coming out of the clouds. I'm pretty excited for that process. You should be too. So we will see you then, and have a fantastic rest of your day, everybody.